And I know you're thinking the worst. It's in those eyes at first. It's neither good or bad. So please show me your thoughts. So please show me your thoughts. And so please show me what I meant to believe. It's neither good or bad. So please show me your thoughts. So show me what to believe in.
And welcome to the Gates of Metal. I made poetry algorithms, Juton squared. I mean, the villain of truth is speaking. Microphone, I mean, this is music. And thanks for tuning in this week. What we got for you is, well, we started off with Relief from Barry Tomorrow. And coming up next, we've got Autumn Voices by New Jupes. And after that, it's Say No Cano by Bloodstained Child. And while the amalgamation of various different types of music that you'll be listening to today might be awe-inspiring, remember that it's all on behalf of a cause, and that cause is to raise awareness and blah, 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 blah. On behalf of what, you say? On behalf of, well, just yourself. Smile in the mirror and pretend that the world is fine, because it's really not. Because just like Athabasca is being construed as ethical oil around the world, it's really, well, it's fracking being introduced in, well, the UK, and to say anything other than it's going to be murder there in their own backyard, just like Tolkien predicted, because this is the Isle of Numenor. Yeah, that's right. I'm a nerd. And this is Algorithms Poetry Square, the music portion of what we do when we do what we're doing it. And so I hope you enjoy. Here's New Jupes. Come right back and I'll give you a little bit more spoken nerdity. Maybe I'll even tell you about a little story I had the other night about playing World of Warcraft with God. Man, she was dropping epic loot. It was like better than IRL, which is the indigenous version of in real life, which we're all trying to just escape from, which, as George MacDonald put it, and that's a very old writer and a poet right there, said it is our duty to escape. And so here's a new method, a method of music. Here's New Jupes, Autumn Voices. Say No Cano from Bloodstained Child. And while we're on the topic of children who just survive the conflicts of napalm and landmines the world over like sandcastle Earth isn't already fallen, and we're pretending that Mordor doesn't already exist in the backyard of Canada because the government is selling off the land on behalf of, well, making a profit and entitling it ethical oil as if it was some sort of relief while we bury tomorrow. And the autumn voices of new jubes are sinking us in. And so coming up next, we've got Aspirations from After the Burial and Proto-Pyrus from Atlanta Core. Please don't read between the lines. Just trying to awaken with a little bit of spoken nerdity. It's not like Genova's fallen down from heaven, and Shinra will be next trying to build the super soldier. And Sephiroth will be born, and by the sword we'll all die in the universe that is a sand castle nearly already in ruins. Won't be scarred over the epidermis of our skin, and we won't have to pretend that our only escape method is an addiction. Because that has less to do with insanity and more to do with our response to a world gone insane, derelict of its moral and incapacitated duty to appreciate one another with nothing but a smile as you pass each other by. We're existing in a hollow shell, and it's a sad attempt. And so here we go. This is Aspirations After the Burial.
Touch
Da 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 da. Super typhoon of pure blood. My pressure is rising because the Earth's climate is changing and we're doing nothing, as if it's just some riddle that we didn't have our hands already too far deep in the cookie jar to pull out. Let's just sink it all in and steal everything. Coming up next is Deftones, and in fear and faith, or as I like to say, is in fate and hate. The mingled, intertwining cosmic realities of an audio track built by some little spoken nerd who's just gonna sit back now and listen to the way the words amidst the music move us. Enjoy Deftones as I revisit the eye of the storm, wherein all my hopes are trapped, and I don't even know if this place that I'm creating for you is good or bad, but all I can do is give, give, give. So please, continue listening. Enjoy.
From the day you arrived, I stayed by your side. Placed inside, safe and sound. Shades see me, I'm down on my knees. You can't turn around and walk away. Let me die another day. I've come too far to let this all end. You needed to know. You need to know. We'll never change. And for a voice that never speaks, I hear you. So this is a sign to lock your doors. Fall through the cracks, you'll fall through the floor, and maybe you'll start to regret this more. And I will never change. I swear. And for a voice that never speaks, I hear you. So this is a sign to lock your doors. You fear the unknown. I fear you're alone. Silence is screaming your name as you say you're not at war. You fear the unknown. I fear you're alone. And for a voice that never speaks, I hear you. So this is a sign to lock your doors.
What I meant to say. This here's five-finger death punch. It's coming at you like they're trying to tell you the chronic system of uneducated appeals. And I'm not talking about the ignorance of yourself in the mirror standing before the complex of who you really are and the consciousness that will greet you in heaven as if it'll be a totally different place. And the derivative of your contempt and the regret on your deathbed that you forgot to remember never existed. No, it will. You'll remember those moments. And I'm not telling you that either or, she or he, or whatever creator and the maker of whatever realm of Dante's Inferno to heaven really does exist. I'm just trying to get you to unfurl the illogical depths of sorrow that you're intertwining yourself within, that you might be able to smile someday again. I hope that you can find that thing. So here it is, five-finger death punch, and then Demilero, skyscraper. Enjoy and remember, the world is a shameful place that's falling apart, but well, that doesn't mean you have to let it. You can change it if you really wanted to, but not all of it. Just a smile, 1 second at a time, dropping it like a pin drop in a pond that ripples out to the ocean that is so much more beautiful than butterfly effect. This is the cosmic sandcastle universe that is falling apart by The symbiote of greed that we're holding in our hands, and we can crush it if we really wanted to.
like I'm made of paper. Go on and try to tear me down. I will be rising from the ground like a skyscraper. 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 Like a As the smoke clears, I awaken and untangle you from me. Would it make you feel better to watch me while I bleed? Do you have to make me feel like there's nothing left of me? All my windows still are broken, but I'm standing on my feet. You can take everything I have. You can break everything I am. Like I'm made of glass. Like I'm made of paper. Come on and try to tear me down. I will be rising from the ground like a skyscraper. 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 Like a
play us out this week, we've got a beautiful track by Scott Peoples. It's called Synthetic Doom. And yes, it's an OC remix of a most beautiful track, the effects of which are dark in the aftermath of an alien invasion, or maybe it was a red planet that our ship crash landed on. I can't remember anymore. All I know is the digital realm that they created is both terrifying and menacing, and a malignant tumor of my heart, grown cold in a digital realm where I'm trying to only exist and pull myself out of what is your addiction. Maybe no one's ever asked you, what's wrong with you? They've always just said, well, inadvertently that. They've told you what's wrong with you. This is your diagnosis. This is what's wrong. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? But what they forgot to ask, so what happened? What happened to you? Why can't you drop that pin drop of a smile in the universe and the complexion? Why is it so hard for your face to contort against the violence of every appeal upon your epidermis from the allure of your lips growing into a smile? Because pain, whatever trauma and the misery signals of your life have been painful. But don't let them be. This is Synthetic Doom by Scott Peoples. I'll see you next week. This has been Gates of Poetic Algorithms, infused with metal. Have a great week, everybody. This is Jutan, signing off.
Thank you.